Well, good morning and welcome to Coach's Corner, live from Hardy's this Saturday morning. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you if you're in the celebration of that, holiday, feast day. What do we call it here this morning? But it is March 17th. We're in the middle of the month already. It's hard to believe, and of course we're in the middle of the madness. And let's start locally. What's gone on yesterday locally? Rainy River baseball team down in Florida. They split a pair of games on Thursday. They split a pair of games yesterday as they defeated Northern Essex for the second straight day by a final score of 6-4, and they lost to Brookdale Community College by a score of 13-3. In the Northern Essex games, the Voyagers used a 5-run second inning to take control of the game as Giovanni Romo got the win on the mound. Brett Paul got the save for the Voyagers. Keanu Kalamayan and George Pimento were 2 for 4 for the Voyagers in that game. In the loss to Brookdale, Luis Rodriguez, what a game he had. He goes 3 for 3 with a home run, 2 runs, and 2 RBIs. Rainy River plays 2 more games today, 2 more games tomorrow in Florida, and then they're off for about 2 weeks before they'll start their games back here in Minnesota. Jack Burney scored a hat trick last night with a goal in each period, but the Fort Francis Lakers lost by a score of 4-3 in a shootout against Dryden, who is the first place team, and they'll be the first place team heading into the playoffs in the SIJHL. The Lakers host second place Thief River Falls tonight in the regular season finale. And then the playoffs for the Fort Francis Lakers start on Wednesday and Thursday against English River on the road. They do get for sure one home game in that best-of-5 series, and that will be next Saturday night at Ice for Kids Arena. Of course, high school sports, girls state basketball tournament going on, the boys region or section tournaments going on. Let's first talk about the boys basketball because it's the first on my list, and I don't have to come back and get it. Hinckley Finlayson, they moved down from AA last year to single A this year. They win Section 5A over Cromwell 72-40. So Hinckley Finlayson off to the state basketball tournament. In 7AA last night, ESCO, they make a return trip to the state tournament. I think if I read right this morning, for like the 5th time in the last 6 years, some crazy number like that, as they defeated Virginia 50-33. It really was never even close. I was reading in the Duluth paper this morning that ESCO has switched to a 2-3 defense, and they're 16-0 since they've done that. Hey, with a 7-2, 7-3 kid, why not play 2-3? It seems to make a whole lot of sense to me. So ESCO heading back to the state tournament. And then, of course, I got one more score that I need to talk about. Jordan, Minnesota, 64-56 over Maple River. And the head coach for Jordan, of course, is Matt Urbanic. For those of you who are basketball fans in town, you might remember Mr. Urbanic. He led the Broncos to the state tournament in 2000. And so congratulations to him as he takes Jordan to the state tournament for the second time, I think, in the last 5 or 6 years. Tonight in Section 7A, Northwoods takes on Ely. Of course, Northwoods, the number 2 ranked team in the state. They look like they probably are heading back to the state tournament. They were state runner-ups last year. That game is in Hibbing tonight, and it starts at 7 o'clock. State girls basketball tournament. Let's start with single A yesterday in the championship round. Lyle Austin Pacelli, who is the number 1 seed coming in, they defeat Minneota 53-41. MIB, who came in as the number 2 seed, they lose to unseeded Sleepy Eye 63-48. Who might be the Sleepy Eye might be the surprise of the tournament. So MIB unable to win a state championship. This is the 8th year in a row they've been to the state basketball tournament. In Class A consolation yesterday, Heritage Christian beat Monaga 66-59. And Ada Borup, Norman County West, who came in as the number 3 seed, they defeat Stephen Argyle 74-56. Last night in the AA semifinals, Sauk Center, the number 1 seed, they beat Norwood Young America 54-45. And if you didn't have a chance to watch Roseau against Maranatha Christian last night, you missed out on a heck of a ball game. Roseau took an early lead and built a pretty nice lead, then went on a lull and lost the lead and were down by 6 points, but they came back, hit their free throws down the stretch. They win 78-66. Katie Buravich, 40 points for Roseau last night in that 78-66 win. So Roseau will play to defend their state championship title today. So let's run down the state championship games. At noon, Sleepy Eye versus Lyle Austin Pacelli. That's a noon game, about 2:30. Roseau versus Sauk Center in AA. The AAA tonight, Northfield versus Robbinsdale Cooper at 6 o'clock, and Hopkins versus Eastview about 8:30 in the 4A final. MIB and Grand Rapids will both play for 3rd place today. Well, if you couldn't stay up late last night, you missed maybe the biggest upset, no doubt about it, the biggest upset ever in college basketball history, but maybe the biggest upset in sports history, some people are already saying, and that might be a little heavy, but we'll get a chance to rank it. And of course, we're talking about number 1 Virginia in the NCAA men's basketball tournament, losing by 20 points to the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. Yes, folks, the Retrievers come up with a 20-point win in the biggest upset. They were a 20-point underdog, and they win by 20 points. Absolutely mind-boggling, and I'm sure your bracket, along with mine and many others, are completely blown out of the water. Texas A&M over Providence. Purdue over Cal State Fullerton. Number 13, Marshall, 81-75 over the Wichita State Shockers. Unfortunately, the Shockers won't make another run this year. Cincinnati, the number 2 seed, over Georgia State. North Carolina, number 2 seed, they defeat Lipscomb. Butler over Arkansas. Nevada in overtime. I needed that win for my bracket early yesterday afternoon, but unfortunately, the bracket is gone now. They beat Texas in overtime. Kansas State over Creighton in a 9-8 game. Auburn hangs on and beats Charleston 62-58. Xavier, the number 1 seed in their quarter of the draw, they get 103-83 over Texas Southern. Syracuse, who's already played twice this week, they get a 57-52 win over TCU. Clemson takes down New Mexico State. West Virginia, 22 points better than Murray State. Michigan State had to hang on against Bucknell. Everybody's talking about Michigan State making it to the Final Four. Not saying they're not going to make it, but boy, they sure made it interesting last night. And Florida State over Missouri. In the NCAA women's basketball tournament that got started yesterday, the Gophers women's team taking on Green Bay. It was close. Actually, the Gophers were down by 5 points at halftime, but they used a 30-13 fourth quarter to defeat Green Bay 89-77. Great win for the Gophers. They're the number 10 seed taking down the number 7. Of course, the women's basketball tournament continues on, and it's who can defeat UConn, if anybody. NC Final Four in women's hockey last night down at Ritter Arena in Minneapolis. Clarkson over Ohio State 1-0 in overtime, and then Colgate over Wisconsin 4-3 in double overtime. That game got over about the same time that the Virginia basketball game. It was late last night. It was after 11 o'clock. Championship game between Colgate and Clarkson in Minneapolis on Sunday afternoon. Men's college hockey last night. Of course, this is the final weekend of the playoffs before the NCAA tournament starts next weekend. In the NCHC at the Xcel Energy Center last night, St. Cloud State, they take down UND 3-2. North Dakota really needed to win that game to give themselves a chance to be in the NCAA tournament. They play UMD today at 2:30, who lost to Denver 3-1. They're saying that if UMD loses that game, according to the paper, UMD is out of this tournament. I can't figure it out. There's just no way that UMD doesn't make this tournament, even with a loss. But apparently somebody's done the math with the right number of wins and whatever else. So anyway, those games go off at 2:30 and 6:30 today as St. Cloud State plays Denver for the NCHC title. Of course, NCAA wrestling going on. The championships are tonight. All the wrestlebacks this morning and this afternoon on ESPN. What a nice win for the Wild in Las Vegas last night. Jason Zucker returns home, and he gets the first goal of the game. He gets an assist later on a Matt Dumba goal as the Wild won by a final score of 4-2. Charlie Coyle and Zach Parisi also had goals in that game last night, as the Wild will be in Arizona tonight for an 8 o'clock game. The Minnesota Twins lost a pair of games yesterday as they went split squad. They lost to Tampa Bay 11-1. Joe Mauer had a hit, only one of the 4 hits for the Twins in the one game, and he scored the lone run. And then the Twins lost to Boston 4-2 as Max Kepler had 1 of 4 hits. So the Twins didn't have their hidden shoes on yesterday. Twins play Pittsburgh at noon today, and you can hear that game on K104. What's going on locally? Well, of course, the Old Timers tournament is going on. Got started last night, went late into the night, started early this morning as everybody in town to talk about the old times and play some hockey and make the fundraiser for the Bronco hockey team, which is what it really is all about, getting together and seeing friends and making some money along the way. So that goes on all day over at Cary Park and also at Bronco Arena. The Lakers, as I mentioned, are at home against Thief River Falls tonight at 7:30. And Minnesota United soccer team, they get their home opener at TCF Bank Stadium at 1 o'clock today. well, a little chilly, but they always are at the beginning and the end of the season in the MLS. Timberwolves, they are in San Antonio. Let's see if they can continue their march towards the playoffs. That game is at 7:30. Tomorrow, Twins take on Philadelphia at noon. You can also hear that game on K104. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back, and we're going to talk Bronco girls track and field. You're listening to Coach's Corner, live from Hardee's on K104 and online at rjbroadcasting.com. Well, welcome back to Coach's Corner, and if you hear any fighting going on in the background, Avery Savonin just threw it down right here before we went on the air. She absolutely drew a line in the sand and threw the throwers under. Jay Boyle, if you are listening, you have got some bones to pick with Avery Savonin. I don't know. It's going to get ugly. And I'm joined by members of the girls track and field team this morning. Jenna Sullivan, our good friend Bailey Millette, Avery Savonin, who may not make it out of here alive, Taylor Bush, and head coach Jen Erickson. I'm going to tell you exactly what she said so you don't whatever. We got asking about what events you're in, and that may be something we're going to talk about. And so I gave Bailey Millette that she was going to be in discus, and she didn't want to be in discus. And Avery says, well, you only have to work out for 10 minutes if you're a thrower. And boom, the 10-minute workout, and then you get to go home, so you don't have to do anything, Coach. So Coach Jay Boyle, it's all yours to take care of from there. Give that microphone over to the coach because she's got to start so she can. Coach, this is year 20?
20th year as head coach.
20th year. You guys aren't even that old, I just realized it.
I'm old. You guys aren't old.
She was coaching before you guys were born. Wow.
You don't have to explain it like that.
That is crazy. That's hard to believe.
The same age as your parents. That might sound a little.
Okay, that sounds better. Coach, this is another season, and of course, there are expectations that go along with what you have been able to create to make happen. Is it a good pressure going into the season?
It is. It's a good pressure. It's, you hate that dreaded question. Oh, are you going to win sections? Well, don't ask me. Ask the girls.
Yeah. It's one of those things. 5 times in a row, right? If I've got the number right.
You have every team out to beat you.
But it's a little different than every other sport, a lot of other sports, because there's 18 events going on all around that you don't necessarily have control of what the other person does. But there's a lot of calculating, I guess, that goes into it. And I don't want to get already to the section meet, but there's a lot of figuring about where you're going to pick up maybe 4 points over here by maybe, I don't want to use maybe this is the wrong term, but sacrificing somebody's maybe individual goals so you can pick up a relay win or something along that line.
I think almost everyone here has been in that position. All right, Bailey, 300 hurdles. So the girls, they know that they want a chance. At the title, they have to maybe pick up an event they don't really like, like high jump, 300 hurdles, 2 mile.
Well, I was going to say maybe the 2 miles she would like to take. Talk about how the first week of practice went. It's tough, I know, indoors, but the weather looks like it's going to maybe let you outside here in the next week or so.
No, it was good, really good. The girls have been working hard. We had quite a big group doing our normal practice and then staying for another 2 hours after to get in some field events. So, no, we had a great first week.
Jenna Sullivan, it's senior year. So what are your expectations for the team as we move along through the season?
I mean, I think a big thing this year is being it is senior year. I would like to really enjoy this year. So just having fun and winning meets is another big thing, I guess.
Shot put, discus, right?
Yep.
Anything else? Is she going to make you run in like a relay, like a 4x4? No?
Something like that.
Something like that? Will she make you run 2 or just 1?
That's up to her.
Ooh, all right. Bailey Millette, 100 hurdles. I got that one. Coach has already said 300 hurdles like 8 times, so we know you're going to run that a couple of times. Oh, no. Coach is shaking her head off. You can't see her, I know, but she's saying no. Okay, so what else then? What?
Triple jump.
Triple jump?
Jump.
Triple and long?
and maybe a relay. I don't really know.
Okay, somewhere in a 4x1 or a 4x2, somewhere along the way. That's what I'm thinking. Avery Savonin, how about for you? What's coming? Which microphone do you want? Maybe take both, then you can be
Twice as loud.
twice as loud. Avery Savonin, what has Coach got in mind, or what do you have in mind that you'd like to be doing?
Well, probably the mile and 2 mile, because there's no one else to really run that besides Ryan. And
Is she going to make you run both of them in the same meet?
she has before, so yeah, probably.
Okay. And?
Maybe the 4x8 and hurdles.
Ooh. Little 100 hurdles or 300 hurdles?
Whichever one I get thrown in.
Okay. Taylor Bush, how about for you? A shot and disc, and is Coach going to make you go out there?
Yeah, so there's always this, like, we have like fun meets is what we call them.
Yeah.
So there's always like a throwers relay.
I remember
year,
them well. Yes.
We never like ever practice it. So like last year, I know Gina Oren. I don't remember. I think I was in it with Emma, and then Jenna, me and Chloe maybe.
Okay.
So and like you know how like I think they say go, right? I don't know. They're like sticking. I'm not 100% sure, but Gina would say chicken and then dinner, and then we would go. So I just throwers relay is like what I look forward to most.
I remember being in a few of those. Yeah, you don't practice the handoffs.
Nope.
You just go out there and have fun. That's a little bit what it's about. Is team sports. You guys are in them. Is track and field. And like I said, I don't want to make this sound wrong, but is it more relaxed, or is it a different type of pressure than from the team sports like volleyball and basketball and those others? Taylor, you've got I'll let you answer first.
I think that, I mean, you're still making a team effort for it. It's just that, like, you have your own like individual thing that you're doing, whereas a basketball team, you're all working together to get the same goal. Where like in track, you're all making your like own goal for something.
Avery, how about for you? Is it a different? Well, of course you're cross country, so you understand that individual, but the team part of it as well.
I think it depends on what kind of a person you are, if you think it's harder or easier or more pressure or not, because it's a lot on yourself. Like your event, it's all on you, and it's like for the team, but if you mess it up, it's your fault. Like you can't blame anyone else for it. Whereas a team, you're all like on the court or on the ice together, so there's more than one person to like say could have made the mistake.
Sure. Couple of indoor meets coming up. The first one on the 27th, Coach, Tuesday the 27th, and then the following Tuesday, right? Easter kind of screwed up having a weekend meet in there because you guys usually go one Saturday in there, right? So the indoor meets, good, bad? Give it to Bailey. Bailey's going to answer this one. Indoor meets better or worse than outdoor meets?
I like indoor meets because the tracks are smaller.
Okay.
Less running.
You know, if you're going to be in track, that the running is part of it, Bailey. I'm not sure if are we making that anyway. What do you mean? How is it less running if you run 100 outdoors or 100 in?
It's 60 indoors.
That's right. It's only 60 hurdles. And I didn't even put that. Yeah, you got me there. You got me. How about for the shot putters? Is it more fun indoors? Different shot put. Does that make a difference as well?
I mean, I like it because right away we start practicing in the arena, so we're throwing those shots anyways. So without being outside and being able to practice with our regular shots, it's nice to practice with the ones you're going to throw your first meet.
Taylor, you agree with that?
I actually personally like outside a lot better than indoors.
Sure.
I don't know. I feel kind of like, I guess, trapped indoors. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
I just
does.
like the fresh air and then like the feel of being outside and just doing it outside.
Well, I think Coach might be able to answer this. The indoor meets, there's probably what? At 30 teams, 30 teams, and you're in a field house.
Yeah,
where do you go?
Where do you go? You know what? You can't find anybody.
Yeah.
And they're in two different places. So you got to remember there's the field house, and then there's I call it the dungeon because it's just dark and gloomy. Yeah, gloomy over there. And
And where's that? Because
It's the old field. They're
old field
house.
house. Okay, and that's where the field events.
Well, they split them up.
Okay.
Girls in one, boys in the other.
Okay, I get it now. That's because I've never been down for one. Home meets April 12th,
April 12th and
the 24th.
I think it is the 24th.
Tuesday, a Thursday and a Tuesday, if I remember right. Let's make our predictions. Everybody gets a chance to answer.
Snow or no snow?
Yeah, is the meet going to happen on the 12th, Jenna? Yes or no?
Sure.
Sure. Bailey?
Yes.
Yes. Avery?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Taylor?
Why not?
Why not? Coach? Coach?
They were running in snow pants last year. So if it can happen, we'll make it happen.
Yeah, I think I remember last year's was like about 22 degrees with the wind blowing about 107 miles an hour. And Coach said, we're doing this. And I'm like, well, okay, I've got a nice warm booth to sit in, so I can handle it. Are you guys okay with running in that, throwing in that? Or is it just, go ahead, you can tell the truth. She can only make you run for so long and then she'll get over it. Okay, participating in those kind of meets, Taylor?
I mean, the last time I had to do it, I slipped in the circle and like fell and like scraped my knees. So I mean, but like if you think about it, going through it is actually pretty fun because everybody's going through the same struggle as you. So I don't know.
That's a pretty positive way of looking at it, I think, Taylor. How about for you, Jenna?
Yeah, it was kind of fun because it's like no matter how cold you were, I think our milers were out there in their full jackets, full sweat. So it's like they weren't going for their best time. They were just having fun.
Just doing what you had to do. Bailey?
Well, it's kind of hard to run because you can't feel your legs at all. I think I ran a 20-second 100-meter dash. It was so bad.
I can believe it. And, of course, when you run the hurdles, you can't really run those in sweatpants, right?
I didn't run the hurdles.
You didn't run the hurdles. So one of milers, you guys are used to that cross country.
I love it.
You guys
I run so good in the cold.
And why is that?
Because I die of heat when it's hot and I can't breathe and I feel like I'm going to pass out.
Okay. Section title, 6th one. Is it coming? Yes? Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Bailey Millette?
Yes.
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 Heck yeah.
Heck yeah, why not? I think was the answer we were looking for. Ladies, thanks for coming in this morning. Best of luck. And hopefully we'll have that first home meet on April 12th. We'll take a break and we're going to come back and we're going to talk Rainy River Community College women's softball. You're listening to Coach's Corner, live from Hardee's on K104 and online at rjbroadcasting.com. Welcome back to Coach's Corner. Here for our third segment, joined by the Rainy River softball team. How come Coach Dieter's not here? What? How did I talked to him? How did
a busy guy.
How did he get out of this? Unbelievable. He's been on probably enough times this year. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Alyssa Dedman, Amy Fafard, and Serena Parendo joining me here, and we're going to start with Alyssa because Alyssa's a little nervous. So Alyssa, where are you from?
I'm from Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada.
How does somebody from Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada end up in International Falls, Minnesota, USA to play softball?
Well, I've always wanted to go away somewhere for softball, but I've been too nervous to go alone. So my boyfriend got recruited for baseball. So I thought that was the perfect chance to go somewhere.
So who's your boyfriend so I can do the math?
Robert Ermel, he's the catcher.
I think I know who that is. And Amy, you might as well remind everybody, you were on here earlier this year, but you might as well remind everybody where you're from.
I'm from Dauphin, Manitoba, Canada, and I came here because at softball, and my sister was here 5 years ago, so that's how I knew the school.
That's right. Serena Parendo, I saw you wearing your ESCO shirt last night.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Wow, I like that. And how about ESCO winning the boys section?
I saw that. I was hoping there was a live stream, but I was.
I listened to it on the internet the second half after the fish fry last night, and yeah, it sounded it was never really close. They had control the whole game. So
I mean, I don't want to say that's typical ESCO fashion, but I mean, it kind of is.
It has become
until they get down to the state tournament. Then that's when the real close games come in.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, it helps when you got somebody
7'3".
7'3". It definitely helps. Adam Trepp. We've talked about that this morning.
Oh, yeah.
This is your second year here as well, and so how was Florida?
Oh, sunny. And
sunny.
Warm.
And how warm was it?
I think the hottest it got up there was like 76, 78.
Okay. For you guys from Canada, that's way too warm. You don't.
Had it warmer.
What's that?
I could have had it warmer.
It could have even been even warmer than that. Jeez. So I'm thinking through the games. 1-7 is that right? And I'm not trying to be whatever. I had to think about it. Not the best games win-loss record, but that's not what the trip to Florida is all about, is it, Amy?
No, it's not. I mean, we also did just go there for like the experience, but we didn't get to play a whole lot of like Florida teams, or like some of the teams were teams that we played here.
Yeah.
We played Northland, and I don't know. I hope there would be like a little bit more of a tough competition so we can like actually learn from that.
Serena, what do you see in Florida as far as the teams you played? Obviously, like I said, you played some teams from Minnesota and Northland. I think St. Cloud once.
Yep.
I thought I saw maybe Minnesota West on there. I mean, no. Central Lakes.
We played Central Lakes down there too.
So what do you see in the team? What's good, and what does this team need to work on?
I mean, we stayed pretty positive the whole way through. We've got a couple of new girls that never really touched a ball before, and I think it was a really good experience for them. You know, they finished out spring training, hitting the ball, making plays, and that in itself is a big improvement. You know, never really touching a ball, and then all of a sudden you get to you're hitting in college ball.
Sure.
So it was.
So what does the team need to work on? What maybe is the one thing that you guys saw maybe as the difficulties, and something that if this team makes improvements, it is going to be a very good positive heading forward?
I mean, it's still like, you know, simple making plays, and I mean, there was first game jitters, definitely. We had a lot of new girls, so first game jitters. You know, we got spring training out of the way. Hopefully that's over and done with now. But so it's, you know, making plays, getting solid hits, just being patient, really, overall.
Alyssa, what position or positions do you play? Because it seems like everybody's got to have a couple. So
I'm mainly the catcher, but I also play first base and outfield.
Okay, which one would you prefer to play?
Catcher.
Why?
I've always played that. Like, that's been my position my entire life. So.
Is it because you're always in the play, or is there some?
Yeah, probably.
Or
always going. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Amy, how about for you?
I'm a pitcher actually.
Pitcher.
Shortstop, second, third, wherever, infield mostly, wherever he needs me, yeah, pretty much.
Wherever it goes. Serena, how about for you?
Catcher, first, third, outfield, a little bit of second.
Okay.
Just wherever I'm being
Boy,
told to go.
I was going to say this leaves Coach Humbert with a bunch of things to decide and to do. You guys get to go down to the Irish Dome here on Monday morning.
We leave tomorrow afternoon.
Leave tomorrow afternoon, and then you guys play like at this is I have to say this out loud. You guys play like at 7:15, 9:30, and like 11 o'clock or something.
Yeah. Yep. For 3 days.
How difficult is it to get ramped up and play softball at 7:15 in the morning?
I'm not really a morning person, so that's going to be a struggle.
I think like half the team is not a morning person.
So does that mean we have to get up earlier to be in the right mode? I mean, so if you're playing at 7 o'clock, that means you're getting there at
5:30,
6 o'clock. So that means getting up at 4.
For me.
For me, it's 4.
For me. Everyone else.
I'm right about there, 4:30.
4:30. Yeah.
That sounds early. It's still dark at that time. So you guys get a chance to play 3 games indoors after going to Florida and the nice sun and everything else. You guys got to go play indoors. How hard is it to play in the Unidome or the Irish Dome? How tough is it?
I hate it, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't know, it's just a completely different area, obviously, and it's not the same. The ball doesn't, like, you can't hit pop flies, obviously. It hits the roof, and then there's so many different rules with that. The turf sucks. I don't know, it's not good.
Personally, I like it though, just because they're like sliding, you just go.
You just slide?
Yeah.
See, I would be very afraid to slide on the turf. I would think that
It's fun.
It's fun.
It's
You just
very
kind of
fun.
go.
It's almost like sliding, like it's supporting you, because as soon as you slide, there's no stopping. You have to
Yep.
like physically stop yourself.
Yeah, I did a nice belly dive last year, and I kind of went right over third base and managed to still be safe by holding on with my feet. So,
That seems crazy because I would well, of course I'm thinking maybe of the old artificial turf, and
Yeah.
I mean where if you slid on it you got burned and it was no fun. So we're playing mostly Minnesota, all Minnesota teams.
I think so.
This week, 3 games Monday, 3 games Tuesday, and 3 games on Wednesday. It is 9, and then you guys get to take a couple of weeks off and
No.
no.
Coach
Dieter picked up a new tournament.
Oh, that dirty bugger and didn't tell me about it.
Back in the cities next weekend.
So like Saturday, Sunday next weekend
Yeah,
at the Dome again.
Yeah.
Okay, so how many games are we playing there?
6.
6 games more. So, geez, that's going to be 15 games next weekend.
Yeah.
The arm going to be able to handle it, Amy?
Don't get me started.
Don't get you started. Well, we got to start you. Somebody's got to. How many pitchers? Because if you're going to play 3 games in 3 days and then go back down and do 6 more a few days later,
1.
No, 2.
We have 2 pitchers, but
pi-
one of them hasn't pitched since high school. But we had another pitcher from Nevada, but she recently got injured, and I was left as me and Casey Myers.
I know Casey, and she'll do fine, and that's good. But boy, 9 games in 3 days. What are you going to figure? You figure you're going to pitch what? 6 of those?
That's coach's plan.
6, 2 each day. Yeah, that's good. So what's the best pitch you got?
I don't know. I'll leave that up to my catchers here.
Okay, that's perfect. Alyssa, what's your best pitch? If it's a 3-2 count, and you need the strikeout. What pitch are you calling for?
Depends on her day.
It
Either
depends on the day.
fastball, drop ball. Her curve really works. So depends on the day, but like it curves a lot when it's working.
Yeah,
so that's
I
good.
like her curve when it's really on. I love it. That's like my go-to pitch for her.
So does it work better in the wind, the curve? And I'm being serious.
Well, if it's depending which direction the wind is going, I'll definitely try to work with it. So if it's like blowing like out, then I'll probably like throw it a little more inside so
Sure.
it actually ends up where
But
I want it to.
does it break more in certain wind? I mean, when it's working against the wind, and I'm asking because I've never thrown a softball underhand. I don't think I could do that real well. Does it break more against the wind or with the wind, or do you just have to? Or are you just playing the wind a little bit more when it's blowing?
I don't really know, honestly.
Catcher, you should be able to answer that question. Does it break more in the wind?
You just kind of play it.
Just kind of play it.
Yeah.
Who's out there? Who's the bitter rival for Rainy River here during the softball season?
Masabi,
Itasca, Central Lakes knocked us out last year.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys got to only pick one. I mean, if there's going to be a brawl, who are we brawling again? Who?
Raw Masabi.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh
See,
yeah. Oh yeah.
See, that's what I was fishing for. That's what I wanted to know. See, I graduated from Wasabi, so I'm okay with that because I get it. You guys don't judge me any harsher than you did. What are the expectations for this team? Where you guys have got 8 games under your belt from Florida. Now you guys kind of have a feeling where things might be going. What are the expectations?
I don't think we're gonna get anything given to us. I think we're gonna have to work very hard. We lost a lot of players this year, and we just recently picked up 2 more. One of them isn't very experienced softball, but I think we have like very talented, hardworking, dedicated players now. So I think with the work and effort, we'll make it fun.
Amy, how about for you? Obviously, lots of work coming. Lots of
Yeah, like Alyssa said, we definitely have to work for it. We do have a new coach this year, Tyrone Robinson. He's definitely helped us out a lot.
Sure.
Definitely brought in a lot new materials and drills, and I think that's really opened the girls' eyes and something different.
I was just going to say something interesting, something different at practice. Are you guys getting tired of looking at the gymnasium with the practices?
Yeah.
Will you guys push to get practices moved outside sooner? Even if it's cold, Serena. I mean,
it was kind of funny. The men's basketball coach Bill Engel cracked a joke with me the other day. Walked in the gym and said, "Dieter's looking for shovels." And I told him, I said, "All right, let's go."
Wow.
So I'm ready to get outside. I mean, I've been in there since November. So
last Saturday or 2 Saturdays ago, whichever one it was, I saw the snow blowers out on the Falls High softball field. They were throwing the snow, and they came out, and I'm like, well, you got to get done what you got to get done, right?
Oh yeah.
We started even some outfield in the parking lot.
Oh,
So I guess that's a start for us.
when we played baseball, that's where we went out, took infield in the parking lot. It's a little dangerous.
Yeah.
But you get the right type of ball, and you get things taken care of.
Exactly.
Ladies, thanks for being here. Best of luck. We'll have you guys on hopefully right before the state tournament. We'll get a chance to talk about a great season.
Sounds good.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you so
Thank
much.
you, sir.
Alyssa Dedman joining me, also Amy Fafard and Serena Parendo. We'll take a break and we'll come back and we'll wrap up Coach's Corner. You're listening live on K104 and online at rjbroadcasting.com. Welcome back to Coach's Corner for our final segment. I want to thank our guests this morning, of course, the Bronco girls track and field team, Jenna Sullivan and Bailey Millette, Avery Savonin, Taylor Bush, and head coach Jen Erickson, and of course the Rainy River Community College softball team joining me here this morning, Amy Fafard, Alyssa Dedman, and Serena Parendo. Thank them for coming in on this St. Patrick's Day. Let's talk about the week that was. And let's go back to last Saturday. The Bronco boys basketball season came to an end at the hands of the Virginia Blue Devils in the Section 7-2A quarterfinals by a final score of 66-55. The Broncos were led by Armando Barrios with 20 points. The Fort Francis Lakers played the English River Miners at home. They scored the first 2 goals of the game, and the last 2 did the Miners to defeat the Lakers 4-2. Again, those teams are going to get to be very familiar. Not that they weren't already. They've already played 11 times this season. But they will get the chance to play in their best-of-5 series coming up this week. Nothing going on Sunday, Monday. On Tuesday, Rainy River Community College basketball teams got some great news. Devarius Wright and Anthony Merrow were named to the men's basketball all-state team. For the women's team, Deja Monroe was named to first team, and Valon Mobley to the second team all-state. So congratulations to all 4 of those players after very successful seasons for the men's and women's teams at Rainy River. On Wednesday, the Fort Francis Lakers tied the game at 1 in the first period. They tied it at 2 in the third period, but they lost to Thunder Bay in a shootout 3-2. Rainy River baseball team opened their season on Thursday with a split of games. They played Northern Essex Community College. They got a 7-3 win. Luis Rodriguez and George Pimentel each went 2 for 4 at the plate, as Tristan Lawrence was the winning pitcher as he threw 3 innings. In the other game, they played Prince George's Community College. They lost by a final score of 9-3. Brandon Hobart had a pair of hits and a pair of RBIs in that game. Rainy River baseball split a pair of games again yesterday. They defeated Northern Essex again, this time by a score of 6-4, as they used a 5-run second inning to get the big start in that game, as they won 6-4. They lost 13-3. Pardon me, to Brookdale Community College, but Luis Rodriguez, he went 3 for 3 with a home run, 2 runs, and 2 RBI. They play 2 more times today in Florida, 2 times tomorrow, and that will wrap up their trip, and then they'll get back on the bus tomorrow afternoon, and they'll start heading north, and I assume they'll be here sometime late Monday afternoon and to get back to get into classes. What else is going on around the area? Of course, the Old Timers tournament going on at Cary Park and at Bronco Arena this weekend. Get out there and see some of the old hockey players and support the fundraiser for Bronco hockey, because that's what it is all about. The Lakers play their regular season finale at home tonight against Thief River Falls. That game at 7:30. Old Timers continue tomorrow. Baseball practice. They had conditioning last week for high school. Baseball practice starts on Monday officially. Golf practice also starts. Rainy River softball, 3 games on Monday, as we just got done talking about, at 7:15, 9:15, and 11:15. They'll do the same thing on Tuesday. They'll do the same thing on Wednesday. And on Wednesday, the Fort Francis girls hockey team, they get their state tournament, their province championship gets started on Wednesday in Timmins, Ontario. They've got an 8 o'clock game, and then they play a second game on Wednesday against a opponent in their pool, and then they'll play one more on Thursday, and if they're in the top of their bracket, they get to play another time on Thursday with a chance to play for a championship on Friday. They could play 6 times in 3 days. It is a tough tournament to play in. Also in Ontario sports, Fort Francis is hosting the boys and girls high schools, again, province championships. That begins at the curling club over in Fort Francis on Wednesday. They have their big banquet on Tuesday night, and then Wednesday everything gets started. They've got curling all day Wednesday, all day Thursday, and then things will wrap up with playoffs on Friday and championship matches on Saturday. So if you're into curling, and I think I'll be over there 1 or 2 nights myself to go watch a little curling, get on over there and see what is happening with the curling in the province championships there. Next Saturday, Rainy River baseball team will be down in Worthington as they will be taking on Minnesota West in a double header. I want to make a reminder to you, Bronco Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony is coming up on April 21st, a Saturday at the American. Tickets are on sale now at City Drug, also at the Espresso Lane at Super One, and at the Falls High School office. Or you can give me a call, and you can go onto the Facebook page for the Bronco page and find that the Bronco Athletic Hall of Fame Facebook page. And you can also give me a call. My number's in the phone book. I'll be happy to take a phone call at home, or if you've got my cell phone number, I will definitely take contact that way as well. Be happy to have you there. It's going to be a big night as we induct Pete Fitchuk, Jim Glowak, Dick Ostrud, and Charles Kaczynski as individuals, and of course the 1962 hockey team also to be inducted that night. And had a chance to talk to Lefty Curran last night, the goaltender for the 1962 hockey team, and he's just ultra excited about coming up and seeing everybody, the 62 hockey team, kind of getting together. Maybe not all in a big group like this for quite a while. So I am definitely looking forward to that. Again, tickets for the April 21st Hall of Fame on sale now at those locations. Don't forget the basketball alumni tournament also coming up Easter weekend. The game started on Friday, March 30th, and the wrap up on Saturday the 31st, as it is always on Easter weekend. And that tournament continues to grow. So we've got our alumni tournaments going on. So get out there and support those. Those are the fundraisers, so we can keep doing the things we need to do for our kids here in this town. Again, thanks to all my guests. Thanks to Dave and his crew at Hardee's for taking care of our guests. Thanks to our sponsors. Thanks to Ryan back at the station for getting us on the air. But most of all, thank you for listening to Coach's Corner, live from Hardee's on K104 and online at rjbroadcasting.com.